They're farmers and farm hands. They're storekeepers and tradition keepers. They're educators and students, brothers and sisters. These are the folks from rural and small-town America, those who believe in a simpler way of life. In towns that may only have one traffic light, where home is off the beaten path, and usually off a dirt road. But what if you could bring these people the world? What if you could take those in the middle of nowhere, someplace they'd never forget? What if you could bring the internet to people who have never surfed cyberspace? Imagine the possibilities. Imagine the benefits. Imagine their faces when they're able to say, "Hello, world."
We think that the AirAdvantage franchise program offers the franchisee a real opportunity to have a good business that they can be proud of. A lot of the typical franchisees, you buy a job. You might be a maid service or a pizza place or a donut shop. You're buying yourself a job. With our opportunity, we feel like you can really own a business, own a career, make a difference in your local community. You can have a business that has an ongoing entity. You sign up customers. Those customers are going to be loyal to you if you're doing a good job. The customers will continue to buy from you. You don't have to go out and look for the next customer every day because they're signed up. They're not likely to change their internet service on a regular basis.
I think from a financial perspective, one of the things that's nice about AirAdvantage is that it's recurring revenue as you sign customers up. That revenue keeps coming every month as you sign those customers up. And that's very different than a lot of franchisees, because a lot of franchisees are always they have to go out and get the next sale. Statistics show that on average the churn rate for your internet service provider is somewhere around 5 to 7%. People that change their internet service provider. So once you get the customer, if you're servicing them well, good chance you're going to keep them for a long time.
You don't have to convince people that they need the internet today. Pretty much, people know they need the internet, and they need it for their lives. Just like, you know, we can't imagine a day where you wouldn't have access to the internet to look up information. People without high-speed internet, they realize that they need that.
In small towns like this, we're known as the last mile. It's incredibly expensive for companies to put fiber out to rural communities like ours, and the ability to have internet through the wireless is relatively painless for the community to go through, as well as affordable for the user.
Again, we've got the systems in place that let us monitor everybody's internet connection. We can track calls as they come in, and what was done with certain connections to fix them. It's 5 years of experience that has gone into, you know, basically every day of the year we're improving things, we're doing things a little differently, and so we've been through that, and I think that's allowed us to really be efficient in the way we do things and successful.
Since our beginning, AirAdvantage has made it a goal to give back to the community. Some of the things that we do in our local community include providing local free web hosting services for local nonprofit organizations. We provide free service to our local libraries so that community members can come into the library and get high-speed access if they can't afford it at home.
I've been here 10 years in the Unionville Library, and it was a little country school. In fact, most people in Unionville went to that school. And it didn't have a lot of books, but we had quite a few in, and the shelves were packed. And there was just books everywhere, and we had one computer. That's all we had room for. Everything was just filled up in there. And so then when Scott came along and asked about moving, we said, well, if we can find something, and this just came about, and we got into this, and I've tripled my business in here. And people have donated, and everybody tells me how it's a wonderful place, and I have the best place in Unionville. It's just, people come in just to sit down because it's an awesome place to be. Don't have it at home, and then there's some that do, but some of them come in here and they'll use this, the Air Advantage, and they'll say, what do you have? Why is this so fast? And I've had customers that used to come in here that don't anymore because they got it at home, because they really couldn't believe the speed of it. I just had somebody in today and she's like, wow, is that fast? She says, I gotta try and get that. I said, yeah.
To me, this is about giving back to the small towns, the people in the small towns, the people in those communities, and giving them all the advantages of those people in urban settings. When you're working, enjoying what you do, and you know, the added benefit of doing something that really benefits other people, it's a very satisfying thing. So being that person that is bringing the world to people in rural America, I think will be a very satisfying thing for franchisees.
We're a small Class C school, about 660 kids. We have 4 computer labs that are wired in our district with 35 computers in a lab. We also have 4 carts that have with 25 laptops on a cart that are wireless. Every one of our instructors has their own computer that's wireless. They have their own laptop that's wireless. We also have in our K-8 little banks of computers in classrooms to allow us to deliver educational programming that align with the Michigan standards and benchmarks that are wireless also. There's an awful lot of conflict when you start talking about changing that dinosaur of education, but they didn't think we were crazy. And they have some vision too, and they were very, very helpful in putting it together. There's no way in the world that we would be able to offer what we offer for our kids and do the things that we do without it, because you can install it. Anybody can install it. Can you service it is the deal.
Our service works very similar to cable or DSL. We have an antenna that we put on a tower somewhere, and that antenna transmits a radio frequency that is picked up by an antenna that is installed on the home.
The advantage of Air Advantage in our franchising system is that we're not the big company. We are a local company in whatever territory we're in. So in Frankenmuth, Michigan, we are the local providers of the internet. If we sell a franchise in Bay County, Michigan, whoever buys that franchise will be the local presence in that market.
Just to make a difference in their lives to the people who live in the rural communities and they don't want to live in a, in a big city. They either want to or they have to live where they live in a rural setting, and it just gives them a fair playing field and the things that we take for granted.
Air Advantage has given a great opportunity to many people who, but for the wireless technology, would not have access to the internet.
We believe in the information age, and you have enough backbone to be a little different and try to solve your problems a little differently. Technology is an awesome tool today.
As a franchisee, you have the opportunity to make a big difference in a local community by being involved in that local community, as well as by providing a very valuable resource to individuals in that community.
We're not a faceless, mindless corporate entity. We're somebody that people can talk to, we're somebody people can see out in church, out in school, out in the community activities. They know us, they see us, they feel like they have a real connection to us.
Give people the world and the advantages that go with it. Bring Air Advantage to a small town or rural community near you.